Looking to build significant, sustainable wealth? Wondering what's the most challenging part of accomplishing this? Want to know how to overcome this challenge? Then you have to check out today's video.
He is a best-selling author.
30-year-old Jason Fieber has a plan.
This guy retired at only 33 years old.
I don't know if I know too many people that have accomplished something like that.
He's really kind of a guru when it comes to passive income.
Before I get into today's content, if you want exclusive access to my personal six-figure stock portfolio and alerts on any new investments I make, check out the Patreon link in the description below. Building significant, sustainable wealth is a goal that I think we all have, or else I wouldn't be making this video and you wouldn't be watching it. On our way to building that wealth, we have to overcome a challenge, the biggest challenge of all. That challenge is accumulating the first $100,000. Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's right-hand man and billionaire investor in his own right, has said that achieving the first $100,000 is the most difficult part of building wealth. Of course, Munger isn't alone. A lot of people have shared this insight over the years, and I concur 100%. Why is this the biggest challenge, and how do we overcome it? That's what I'm here to share. Today, I want to give you 3 big reasons why achieving the first $100,000 is the hardest, how to overcome it all. Let's dig in. To give you some background on me, I was let go from my job in 2009. This was during the depths of the Great Recession. I had been working as a service advisor at a car dealership in the Metro Detroit area. You almost couldn't have picked a worse industry in a worse place at a worse time. But I picked myself up and moved from Michigan to Florida for better job prospects, easier car-free living, a cheaper cost of living, and the absence of state income tax. After getting a new job down in Florida, I started investing in early 2010. I was 27 years old and about $30,000 in debt at that time. From that point, it took me 3 full years to achieve my first $100,000, which I hit at 30 years old. That required saving and investing with 100% focus and effort, all while making $40,000 to $50,000 per year at my day job. I'm talking about living in a small apartment, eating ramen noodles every day, and waiting for the bus in the rain so that I could save over half of my net income and plow the savings into investments. I'm talking about getting 5 hours of sleep per night because I was up all night researching investments. But my portfolio is now worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it only gets easier and easier as time goes on. My portfolio has increased by a 6-figure amount since just this past spring. What once took years now only takes months, and it happens with much less effort on my part. That said, achieving the first 100K is really difficult. And why is this so? Well, it's quite simple. I'll give you a huge reason why. The first reason why achieving the first 100K is the hardest is because it requires you to take action and actually start investing. The hardest step is always the first step. It doesn't matter what you're doing in life. Starting is the most difficult, but also most important thing to do. You can't finish anything without starting it. I don't care what we're talking about. It could be anything in life, from exercising in order to improve fitness, to expanding your skill set in order to gain access to better career opportunities. Whatever you could possibly think of, in order to accomplish any goal at all, you have to start. And the same goes for investing in order to build wealth. I understand 100K might look like an unclimbable mountain from the ground. It is climbable. However, in order to climb that mountain, you really do have to take that first step. No mountain gets climbed without taking that first, then second, third step, so on and so forth. This requires belief. If you believe that you can accomplish something, that is when it suddenly becomes possible. Henry Ford's famous saying is particularly apt here. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Believing in myself wasn't super easy. I grew up very poor, and I spent most of my first 3 decades on this planet completely broke. So believing that I could turn it all around was a tough sell, even to myself, but creating self-belief was instrumental to my ability and motivation to get started. Once you actually commit to action and start investing, things do move along. The key here is to start, and in order to start, you have to believe it's possible. Believing something into existence is a potent experience that only builds on itself, with belief in success begetting more belief in success. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Warren Buffett once said, and I quote, "Someone is sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. But you have to actually take it upon yourself to plant the tree and believe it'll grow. Only then will you find yourself enjoying the shade down the road." The second reason why achieving the first 100K is the hardest is because it requires a massive amount of change. People don't like change. They find the unfamiliar to be uncomfortable. But if you don't embrace change, you'll forever be stuck where you're at. Look, if you keep doing what you've always done, you'll keep getting what you've always gotten. I grew up on welfare in Detroit. My dad took off when I was 8 years old. My mom gave me up for adoption when I was 11. I don't have a college degree, never had a high-paying job, didn't have a spouse to help me out. I was broke for the majority of my life. 100K wasn't going to magically land in my lap. I knew that if I didn't change my ways, I'd stay broke forever. What do you want more? The comfort of the familiar? That first 100K. You have to want that 100K. I mean, really want it. You have to want it so bad that you're willing to totally upend your life and change everything you're familiar with. The familiar is comfortable, but this comfort is likely what's holding you back. Becoming uncomfortable is where the real growth occurs, and that requires change. Besides, change is the only constant in life. Don't fight it, embrace it. This will require you to make massive changes in your life. Instead of spending 100% or more of your income, you'll have to start saving and investing 50% or more of it. You'll have to start fawning over stocks in the same way a lot of people fawn over material possessions. Researching stocks will replace researching consumer goods, and spending money on investing will replace spending money on consumer goods. To be honest, my mindset has been so radically altered that I now view the stock market as the best store in the world and high-quality dividend growth stocks as the best merchandise in the world. The third reason? Compounding doesn't really start to kick in until that first 100K is achieved. It's the same as anything in life. The first few steps are always the hardest. Investing is no different. Albert Einstein has called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. As powerful as compounding is, though, it takes a nice chunk of capital in order for compounding to show this power. I'll show you what I mean. Compounding $5,000 by itself at a market average 10% annual rate, drumroll please, 31 and a half years to turn into $100,000. Achieving the first 100K requires you to do the heavy lifting. Before the compounding can start to work its magic, you have to build the majority of that 100K through your own savings. The need to save is going to result in some uncomfortable questions about your lifestyle, like what you're buying and how you're prioritizing things. Compounding simply cannot help you very much when you're working with an initial small sum of capital. So it's going to be on you to attain a high savings rate and invest the savings as intelligently and often as possible. After the first 100K is achieved, you can then start to take it easy. Bringing things full circle and coming back to Charlie Munger, he has noted that once you hit the first 100K, you can ease off the accelerator a bit. That's because compounding can start to kick in and do its magic. Speaking of magic, let me show you some. Compounding $100,000 all by itself at a market average 10% per year for that aforementioned 31 and a half years turns into more than $2 million. If you really wanted to, you could start young, just get to that first 100K, live life basically on cruise control thereafter, and still become a millionaire. That's how crucial that first 100K is. As crucial as it is, it's also difficult. Of course, nothing worth having in life is ever easy. If it were easy, it wouldn't be worth much, and everyone would already have it. Warren Buffett has likened his wealth to a snowball he started rolling at the top of a very long hill many, many years ago. Because of compounding, this snowball has become enormous, mostly all by itself. It's your turn to build your own snowball. In order to build your compounding snowball, you first have to accumulate the snow, or capital, and put in that extreme effort to pile it all up, form it into something, and then start to roll it down a hill. This is the first $100,000. It's not easy, it's a huge challenge, but now you know how to overcome that challenge. And the good news is that the bigger the snowball gets and the faster it starts to roll via compounding, point, the less effort you have to put into it. At a certain point, you don't even have to push it at all. It'll become this monstrosity that grows ever bigger and rolls ever faster all by itself. You could never accomplish by yourself. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Give us a like if you did, and let us know in the comments what you think about achieving the first 100K being the most difficult part of building wealth. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you don't miss out on new content. Also, take a look at the description box below for some important links, including the link to my personal stock portfolio. This six-figure portfolio, which I call the Fire Fund, generates enough passive dividend income for me to live off of. It allowed me to retire in my early 30s. I've made my portfolio entirely accessible over a Patreon, and I also post alerts there whenever I buy or sell a stock. I put my money where my mouth is, and I'm often invested in the same high-quality dividend growth stocks that I make videos on. Over the years, I've heard from thousands of investors who have been profiting from many of the same exact stocks that I own. So if you think this is something that you could benefit from as well, check the link in the description to see my portfolio and start getting my buy and sell alerts. I'll see you next time.